Before we get into the video, I wanted to say a quick thank you to today's sponsor, which is Manta Sleep. These are the Manta Sleep eye masks, which I am absolutely loving. And today I wanted to show you one of my favorite parts about these eye masks. They are velcroed on, so you can take the eye pads off and swap them out for a range of other eye masks from the Manta Sleep range. These blue ones are the cool eye masks. So these are actually cold. These have been in the freezer, and I love these cool ones when I often have power naps in the afternoon where I don't necessarily sleep, but I just want to close my eyes and rest. And the cooling feature soothes my whole eyes and my sinuses too, and it rests me without me needing to go to sleep. They have steam masks, they have weighted masks, they have aroma masks. If you want to give Manta Sleep a try for yourself, you can use my code Taila10, that's Taila 10, and use the link in my description. And thank you so much to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taila. Thank you for joining me. I don't know what's going on with my hair today. I look like a rat. I'm coming to you in my most natural form right now, which is a random Tuesday afternoon, sitting on my bed, and I'm just here to share some of the things that I've learned over the past few years at uni. I'm in my third year. Well, this is where it gets tricky. I've just finished my third year of my Bachelor of Science at uni Mel. I'm majoring in psychology, but I should be graduating this semester, but I'm doing one extra semester because I have to catch up on a couple of subjects. I'm going on exchange, so I don't know what to say anymore because there's no fourth year Bachelor of Science. Like, you finish at third year, but I just finished my third year at uni Mel. So over the past few years, I have learned some tips and tricks and organization hacks, and I am a big organizer. I'm a huge planner, and I have found that that has been the number one thing at uni that has kept me afloat. It literally is the backbone of your semester when you can have it all planned and have a system in place. Setting something like that up at the start will save you the entire semester. If that's one thing, if you're starting university this year, or if you're in uni and you've just never been able to kind of stay on top of everything, this is my one piece of advice, is just make sure you know what's going on and you have systems in place. The best thing to do, I think, is trial and error, especially in your first year of uni. This goes for like note-taking, planning, diaries, to-do lists, figuring out the best way that works for you through trial and error. Over my degree, I've used so many different tools for note writing and all of that stuff. I've used physical diaries, I've used digital diaries, and it changed as I went through uni. I adapted to the subjects that I was doing, but I do have a system now after 3 years that I use every semester. Sometimes little tiny things within those systems will change, but I basically use the same app for my note taking. I use the same way of keeping on top of all my tasks. So today I thought I would run you through all of the stuff that I use to keep on top of uni and just life in general throughout the semester, to give you a bit of inspo and some ideas. So the first thing that I actually have posted on my Instagram, and I'll post the link in my description as well. This semester I made a semester calendar overview. I stuck it up above my desk and it had all of my classes, when I had the class, when I had assessments due, when I had quizzes, and it was just a visual way for me to see my semester. Firstly, I actually made it because when I started the semester, when I was looking ahead at my subjects, I didn't have like consistent classes. I don't know why they do this, but it was like just all over the place. I didn't have a class for each subject every week. I'd have like one every 3 weeks and then one every second week to this one, and it was just a mess. So I knew that I was going to probably miss a class if I didn't have some sort of organization, like way to look at it. And then I could also see visually the busy periods of my semester. So I could see that the week before and after my mid-sem break were going to be the busiest weeks of my semester, and I was right, they were. very hectic weeks, but I had planned for that from the start, so it meant that I could actually start planning ahead for those busy periods right from week 1. I think the best thing is to be able to look at the semester as a whole. That's something that I've learned, is as much as like take it week by week and take it as it comes, but there is also such benefit in being able to look at it as a whole and being able to plan ahead, as far ahead as week 12, as far ahead as even exams. You can actually be quite smart with what you do, when you do it, what you prioritize, if you have that kind of view of the whole semester. So you can download that template. I'll link it in my description. You'll have to make it your own. I just literally uploaded the one that I made for myself, but it just gives you kind of an idea of something that you can do visually to have hanging up and having a nice little overview of your semester. I just realized I was super bright, sorry. Okay, that's a bit better. So in terms of note-taking, the app that I have landed on and used the most throughout my degree is OneNote. I actually have quite an in-depth video on my channel of how exactly I use my OneNote, and that hasn't changed since I made it, so it's kind of not worth me going over it all again for you. But OneNote is the best way I've found to organize all my notes into one place. It syncs to my cloud through my uni Melb account. It's a really nice system in the way that you can split it up into different notebooks and different pages. So I might split it up into different weeks or different topics. You can have multiple sections. That's kind of the bit that you have to figure out what works best for you and also for the subject. So you'll see that my organization of my OneNote notebook differs depending on the subject, and it just depends on the way that the subjects run, the way that the subject content is laid out. But I think OneNote is really good. Again, with actually taking the notes, I change a little bit depending on a different range of things. Sometimes I'll take quite in-depth notes, but other times I think the easiest thing that I've found for me and my degree and the way that I've been examined throughout my degree is just to actually watch the lecture and put the lecture slides in and make little notes, and then maybe make a summary kind of thing at the end of the subject. That's what I do. I would say it's a little bit lazy, but it has worked for the way, like my exams, for example, for psychology haven't required me to rote learn anything or to memorize anything. It's all been being able to either find information in my notes or being able to apply that information. So rewriting like what the lecturer is saying word for word is probably a waste of my time when I could actually just be sitting there and taking in the content. So yeah, that definitely differs, and it takes me a few weeks as well. Normally I start off making notes in the first few weeks of uni for each of my subjects, and then if I kind of figure that it's not going to be that helpful to sit there and take a heap of notes, then I'll change my strategy a little bit. An app that I love that I don't think enough people know about is called TwoBird, and it is how I organize all my emails. I have 3 different email accounts: my uni one, my personal one, and also my YouTube one. And so I get a lot of emails and I have to make sure that I don't miss emails. And I think especially at uni, being on top of announcements and notifications and messages from your subjects is so important, because there's so much crucial information in there. If you miss an email, then you might miss really important information. So if you struggle with your emails, I recommend trying out TwoBird. They have 2 different settings. It kind of makes sense if you download the app and play around with it yourself, but I use the setting that is called my inbox is a to-do list. So basically I get an email, and when I've not read it, it sits in the to-do section of my inbox. Sometimes if I'm like out and I see an important email, I might like click on it and read it, and then I know that I need to go back and do something about it later or like reply to it. So I'll swipe it and it'll go back into my to-do list part of my inbox. So I just find that that's a really good way to keep on top of the emails. I guess it's just like unreading an email and knowing that you need to go back to it later. The other thing that I love about TwoBird is it has a section called low priority. Basically it filters your inbox and the emails that you're getting to important, and then like lower priority. So still important, but I don't know how. I think you can manually change senders into whichever inbox you need them to be in, but it will automatically sort through a lot of my emails. And so all of the important like notifications that I get from uni, any emails that are being sent directly to me, will go straight into my inbox. So I find that really good too, because otherwise I'd be getting so many emails a day, and I want to have my notifications on, but I can't afford having that many notifications coming through in a day. They also have a very good unsubscribing feature, which is not really relevant to uni, but I always go through and unsubscribe. It will automatically come up with all of the brands and stuff that you're subscribed to, and you can go through and select all the ones, and it'll unsubscribe automatically from them for you. Next is my favorite, Notion. I actually in the past year have not been using Notion as much as I did at the start of my degree, but I think Notion is great if you have the time and the energy to put into setting it up. You have to set it up before you start uni, I think. Otherwise, if it's not an effective system, it'll just turn into more of a pain than a help throughout the semester. Again, I've got a heap of videos on my channel going through all of my Notion templates and all of the ways that I've used Notion, which is actually in quite a few different ways over my past few years. I haven't yet found a system that works exactly for me. I think I'm slowly getting there. But yeah, even still, after like 6 semesters of using Notion, I still play around with it at the start and adjust it and try and make it work a bit better for me. But as I said, like, you have to be willing to set it up properly, and if you have to learn Notion as well. But once you do set it up, it can be really, really useful, and I recommend at least just looking into it. And what I do is I kind of do like a stock take almost on my like organization basically, and so I do this quite a lot for all of these things. I'm like, what's missing right now? Where do I feel like there's a gap in my flow and in my like work flow? So for example, what's often missing for me is a weekly overview. So that's what I've done this semester in my Notion, is I created a weekly overview where I have a really simple way of looking at all my tasks throughout the week. I also realized this semester I'm lacking a monthly overview. I like to be able to see things in a monthly view as well, so that I can see where I am in the semester, what I have coming up in my personal life too. So I bought a monthly pad for my desk from Me Goals. Stuff like that. It's just worth sitting down and just kind of thinking about what's missing and what you feel like you could benefit from. And the thing with Notion is that you don't have to buy anything. You can just set it up, see if it works, have a little bit of a play around with it. You can access a free account if you use your university email. So I use my UniMelb email and I get full access to the pro features. Next up is Safari. So I use Safari now over Chrome, only because Chrome is so slow on my MacBook. It's really frustrating. But Safari/Chrome, whatever you use, I recommend finding some, again, like thinking, what do you need, what's missing from your workflow when you log on to these things. So even customizing what comes up first for you when you open Safari, where the tabs are in the bookmark folder, using extensions. I have a video on Google Chrome extensions that I recommend that's tailored to university studying, so there are some good extensions in there. Next is Zotero. Again, I've done a video on this. Basically what's happened is I've been doing lots of individual videos over my degree, but I wanted to sit down and collate them into this video today. So I have done another video on Zotero, and it is a referencing app that I find super useful for storing all of my references. In psychology, I've done quite a few essays and like little research projects with a lot of research and citations and referencing. So Zotero not only stores all of my references and all of my history of my research, but it also exports a bibliography in the right format for me automatically. It means I can close my Safari and I don't lose any of my tabs of all my research or anything because I've downloaded it straight to this app. It's just a really good system of keeping track of everything that you've got. You can put it in different folders as well for different assignments, and there is an extension in Chrome where you literally just click it and it will save automatically. It'll fill all of the details in itself. There are some other apps that are similar. I just learnt Zotero, so I've just stuck with Zotero since, but absolutely have a look at referencing apps because they will save your life. Especially, like, people say that they dread doing referencing at the end of the assignments. You know, when you like are just about to submit it and then you go, oh my god, I need to do my bibliography. I have never had that thing where I'm like, oh no, my bibliography, because I can literally just go and export it and it'll copy it into text for me and I just paste it in and it's perfect. So it's not something worth stressing about. People often find it the hardest bit of assignments is the referencing, but there are so many good tools that will help you with it. I also have a very basic system with my desktop and the way that I organize my folders on my MacBook. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I just wanted to put it in here because I think it is important that there is some sort of organization on your computer, because otherwise you lose things, and it's just super helpful in those moments when you might be like in the middle of an assessment, in the middle of writing an essay, and you can't find this one piece of research that you did or this one note that you made. But just having some sort of system, it will save you stress. I can promise you that. I also love my calendar. If you follow me on Instagram or if you follow me on YouTube for a little bit, I plan my whole life on my Apple Calendar. Again, I'm gonna link videos because I do talk and show you the process of how I use my calendar to plan and organize, and I kind of have a system within using my calendar that I have made that works for me, works for the way that I study and the way that I plan my time. I have talked about time blocking before, but that's something to look into as well, because you look ahead at a week and you're like, how the hell am I meant to get all of this done? I just don't have enough hours in the day. But when you look at it visually as well, you do have enough time in the week and enough hours in a day to get things done. But it helps being able to visually time block that out and time block each task and plan your week in that way. Finally, another thing that is so random, but I wanted to put it in here as the last thing, is I have a scribble notebook. I have one for every semester. I get like a thick A4 notebook. This semester I got one that was split up into different sections, and each subject had a different section, and this is my folder where I just write everything. I use it for subject specific to-do lists, for my research. It definitely depends on the person that you are, but if you have that kind of like need to write things down and to like handwrite things and also just scribble, I highly recommend getting a scribble notebook. That is it for this video. I hope that was helpful, kind of collating all of my past YouTube videos into one simple sit down video, and then I will have all of the links in the description as well. I hope these suggestions inspired you, and I hope you can get organized for the year ahead. A lot of my vlogs also have similar organization and planning content if this is something that you want to keep looking into, so you'll be able to find it in basically any of my videos, how I kind of keep on top of everything. But yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.